Hey guys, just a quick video to kind of introduce a new mini-series that I'm starting, which I kind of hinted at, I guess, with the, what I call an overview on integrating, where we looked at this guy, which still hasn't changed much, because I've been real busy, and I really didn't think it was fair when I really got to thinking about it. My original intention with this series and working on this project here was to kind of show you guys how I go about my integration techniques and methods and stuff like that. But I realized it wasn't necessarily fair to you guys because I've already done one like it before. So I know where to cut and how to cut and what to expect, and I know how they're going to fit anyway. Usually when you walk up to an integration project, you have two separate shells and you hope that they're going to go together as well as they do in your head, which is always the tough part. So I really didn't feel good about using this guy as an example on how to do integrations in general. It would be more of a, here's how to integrate a raven to a rabbit strike, because I knew what to expect, and it's a matter of just you cut this here. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I need to start a fresh project and bring you guys in from the beginning. And I actually had a good opportunity right when that came down. A guy contacted me and said, hey, would you be interested in doing a commission? And I said, like I've said to a lot of guys, you know, I'm really not doing integrations commissions right now because of time constraints and stuff like that, and just the sheer volume of requests I've gotten recently. And he said, well, would you be interested by chance of doing a Centurion and a Strife integration? And I said, yes, I'd like to, because I've wanted to build one, because I've seen several that looked alright, but trying to get a hold of a Centurion around here anyway, for any kind of decent price, I've never seen them on sale, never seen them on clearance. Even on Craigslist, they're still like $30-40, and it's like, I can't justify paying that much for something I'm going to cut in half and use the back end of. And he actually had a pair. He actually had a Strife and a Centurion shell that had already been cut up, and he said, hey, I'll send them to you. And then so we actually got to talking and decided that his shell was a little questionable, and I said, well, if I can't procure one, locally, would you like me to just pick them up and, pay full price or as good a price as I can get? He said that's okay. And so the next project starting is Strife and Centurion. I've never actually held one of these before, and so I had no preconceived notions or ideas on how I was going to make any cuts. I'd seen pictures, and that's usually how I start integrations. I come up with a crazy idea of, hey, I'm going to stick this to this. I'll usually Google, like in this instance I said, okay, Strife, Centurion, integration, Nerf, whatever, in Google, and just see what kind of pictures come up to get an idea of how's it been done in the past, has it been done well in the past, what are some things about the way people have done it that I don't like, what are some ways that people have done it that I do like, and just kind of walk in that way. That way when I finally get the shells in hand, I can say, okay, I can see why they did this, I can see why they did this, why did they do this, that we could do it a whole lot better, things like that. And so that's where the next one's going to be. For example, it's really hard to tell, like, walking into an integration, how things are going to fit. That's where this guy came in, is much like the Hellhound has a minimized Firefly. It doesn't look like it at a glance, but the Firefly has actually been cut into 6 to 8 pieces per side, just to shrink it down proportionally to make it look just right. And that's not something I've seen done before, but that was one of those. I saw one online that was the same Firefly Rapid Strike rough cut, and this was my first integration project, and I saw it and I thought, hey, that's a cool idea. So I started cutting, and I found the picture online and thought, okay, I'll base it off that. I didn't like it at all. The Firefly was too tall, the rough cut hung down on the front, it just looked like a blaster stuck to a blaster stuck to a blaster, and I really didn't like that idea. I like integrations to literally be an integration where it's kind of a seamless package of, a nice mesh together of everybody. And so I busted it all apart, and I did, the minimization to the Firefly, brought it way down into proportion. I tucked the rough cut up as far inside the Rapid Strike shell as I could, to the point to where when it's primed, I actually had to notch out a little spot on the flywheel cage because the plunger rods were coming back too far And so it's literally as tight as I could get that in there. And, give me that nice clean package. So walk it in like that to this here. I'm going to start from scratch with, I haven't even opened this up. I've only actually pulled it out of the box like today. So I'm going to go ahead and, this new series is actually going to be following along with me. And I'm just going to, talk out loud while I'm working on this to kind of give you guys an idea of what goes through my head, things to look out for, things that I do, little tricks that I've found. By no means saying that the way I do it is the right way, but it's a way that works for me. And I noticed there's not a lot of integration tutorials for Nerf blasters online, which leads a lot of guys to experiment or, try to replicate stuff. And so as we go along, if you like ideas, if you don't like ideas, try some stuff. You can say, well, I don't know why he's doing that. That's dumb. It's up to you guys. But I'm just going to kind of bring you guys in along on this project, just to kind of give you an idea how my brain works as far as integrations, looking at this shell, and saying, what am I going to do to get, this big guy wrapped around this little guy and make it look happy and a good, nice, cohesive picture. Because I've seen several online that basically just take this line on the Centurion and just cut it like straight down, which to me works, and it's presentable, and I've seen some done well that way. But it's like, I think we can do a little better. And there's some details on the shell, kind of up towards the front. There's some kind of cool little details, and it's like, could we make a cut and bring this back and kind of like minimize the overall shell a little bit to where you basically shrink down the Centurion and then wrap it over a strife instead of just whacking the back end off and sticking it on. So we'll see how it goes. I literally have no idea how this is going to turn out. And so that's why I think this is a better idea for actual a tutorial type on the methods used, because I have no clue. I have no clue how this is going to turn out. I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out pretty cool. And I'm pretty confident with that. I'm not sure how exactly we're going to go about it, but that's part of the adventure. So stay tuned, and the next succeeding episodes is going to be the various steps, taking this guy and this guy, making them one happy little family. So keep watching for the next episode, and we'll see you next time.